There's a global project taking shape right now that is so massive, so ambitious, it's almost hard to wrap your head around. And we're not just talking about a simple upgrade here. This is a plan to fundamentally rewire the entire future of artificial intelligence.
Just look at that number, $500 billion. Let that sink in for a second. This isn't just seed money for a new app or a slightly faster chip. No, this is the kind of budget you need to build the entire global infrastructure for the next generation of AI.
So you gotta ask, right? What on earth are they building with all that money? Well, this project brings together three of the absolute biggest names in tech. I'm talking OpenAI, Samsung, and SK Hynix. And they're all focused on one single monumental goal.
Okay, so first, let's break down this pretty groundbreaking partnership. This isn't just another business deal. You have to see it as a strategic alliance, one that's powerful enough to completely redefine the global tech landscape as we know it. The real power here is in the mix of who's involved. You've got OpenAI, the software brains behind the most advanced AI models out there, and then you have Samsung and SK Hynix, the hardware titans who make the high-performance chips that are literally the lifeblood of AI. It's this perfect fusion of software genius and hardware muscle.
And yeah, this was not some deal signed quietly in a back room. The partnership was made official at a huge meeting in Seoul. Just picture that room for a second. The heads of these corporations sitting right there with the president of South Korea. That alone tells you everything you need to know about the huge national and strategic importance of this whole thing.
Okay, so we've got the players. Now, what's the game? Well, the heart of this entire plan is a massive undertaking with a pretty cool code name, Project Stargate. So what is the Stargate initiative, really? At its core, it's a plan to build an entirely new generation of data centers and supply chains. And why do they need to do that? Well, because the future of AI, especially what we call artificial general intelligence, or AGI, it needs a level of computing power that our current infrastructure just can't even touch.
And that brings us right back to this number. This $500 billion isn't just a headline-grabbing figure, it is the fuel for this entire engine. It's the money needed to build out a global network of AI infrastructure over the next few years, and the sheer scale of what they're planning is just staggering.
Just think about the economic impact for a moment. They're projecting it will create over 100,000 new jobs. And these aren't just high-tech jobs. We're talking about everyone from the engineers designing the AI systems all the way to the construction crews who'll be pouring the concrete for these new data centers.
Now, to really grasp the scale of the hardware they're going to need, listen to this. The goal is to produce 900,000 DRAM wafers every single month. These wafers are what you use to create high-bandwidth memory, which is kind of like a superhighway for data. It's absolutely essential for training and running the massive AI models of the future.
Now, a project this massive doesn't just happen in a vacuum. You have to zoom out and see how Stargate fits into the much bigger picture, which is, frankly, a new era of intense global competition over who will dominate AI.
And here, you can see the battle lines being drawn pretty clearly. On one side, you've got the Stargate Alliance, private companies getting government support, all aiming to solidify their tech leadership. And on the other side, you have China's state-driven approach, which is producing incredibly powerful models like DeepSeek, often at a lower cost, to directly challenge U.S. dominance.
The strategic goals here are crystal clear. For South Korea, this is a major play to become a top 3 AI powerhouse. For the US, it's all about sharpening its competitive edge. For both of them, it's about securing that all-important semiconductor supply chain. And what I find really interesting is that a stated goal is to make these powerful tools more accessible to the little guys, the startups and even solopreneurs.
But progress on this level always comes with a price. So let's move to our final section and take a hard look at the immense opportunities this project creates and the very critical challenges that are coming right along with them.
You know, this really is a critical balancing act. On one hand, you have these incredible opportunities, massive economic growth, breakthroughs in medicine, and sustainable energy. But on the other side of the ledger, there are some really serious challenges to think about. The very same AI that creates jobs could also displace them. These data centers are incredibly power-hungry. We're talking about each one potentially eating up a gigawatt of power. And then you've got all the complicated ethical questions about privacy, surveillance, and making sure these systems are fair, all while trying to maintain the public's trust.
And you know, this might be the most important piece of the entire puzzle. This quote says it all. This isn't just a technical challenge, it's a societal one. All the experts agree that without really robust governance to guide this technology, you risk losing public trust. And with that trust, the whole project could very well fail.
Ultimately, Project Stargate isn't just about building bigger computers. It's about building the foundation for a new kind of intelligence that will absolutely reshape our world. And that leaves us with one last critical question to think about. Are we truly prepared for the world it's about to create?